you're not just hiring that coach to say, okay, we're going to make sure you're working out for the next 6 months. They're taking that end goal in mind. They're saying, okay, what does looking good mean to you? And you start having conversations about it. We live in a nation where we love dopamine, so we love feeling good. Everything we do kind of points us towards feeling good. Social media accounts, that like button or that heart on the Instagram, that's designed for a reason to get you to keep clicking and to keep scrolling. And so, interestingly enough, is they've done studies where we see that individuals who are only focused on dopamine, and so I'm only doing the things that make me feel good, I am not going to have nearly as much happiness or satisfaction as an individual who is suffering, for lack of a better term. Maybe suffering is a bit extreme, but they're allowing themselves to go through bouts of being uncomfortable. And so one of the main things that they look at is individuals either trying to obtain their medical doctorate or a PhD or a PsyD, whatever it is. So long-term schooling, 3 or 4 years, very intensive. And what they found is individuals who receive their PhD after those 3-4 years are chemically, the dopamine in their brain is lighting up more so than an individual who is just looking for a quick fix, a quick like on Instagram or whatever it is. So in those times where you're not enjoying it, understand that it's helping long term, and that end result, whatever it may be, will actually feel better for you.
And I feel like you could kind of bring that down just like through a workout or through any type of training or whatever, To me, sometimes I like to get pushed where I feel like my heart's gonna bust out of my chest. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I like that feeling. But other times it's like, man, this sucks. Like, this is rough. I can't believe this. But kind of those emotional highs and lows, I feel like are so important because, you never regret doing those types of things. Those students that are trying to go for their doctorates or their PhDs, they're having those long nights where they're studying or they're staying up late and they're having difficult times, but at the end, they're always so thankful. And I feel like that kind of goes back to like the motivation of it. It's like, well, what's my end goal? How do I stay focused on my end goal? And, knowing that it's not going to just be, unicorns and rainbows the whole way through, and using people as resources to help you out to get you through those difficult times, whether it be friends or family. You can have a coach that can help you, take the emotion out of it a little bit and just remind you why you started. I feel like sometimes that's something a lot of people are lacking. It's just somebody that's in their corner that might be, emotionally removed, but somebody that can really help give advice. Or, if I'm just not feeling it one day, I can reach out to you and you can give me the science behind why I'm doing what I'm doing and be that reminder to kind of help you stay on track. I feel like that's such an important aspect, is just having that support in some facet to help you get through those difficult times.
Yeah, and we'll plug in, I don't know if Kaylee, if you can put in like a big sign up for powertrain here, we'll promote ourselves, put that plug in. But you're not just hiring a coach. I think a lot of times people just say, I'm hiring a coach for accountability, but like, what is accountability? And so Alexa's talking about that structure and that end goal. And for many of us, we need someone who is going to be able to take that objective view. And I say, okay, I've got a wedding in 6 months from now, I want to look my best. You're not just hiring that coach to say, okay, we're going to make sure you're working out for the next 6 months. They're taking that end goal in mind. They're saying, okay, what does looking good mean to you? And you start having conversations about, well, I want to lose, X amount of pounds and I want to gain muscle. And so there's a structure that gets put in place. And whether you're looking at that through the lens of hiring a nutrition coach or a personal trainer, whatever it is, I think it's very important for us to put people in place that are going to take that objective perspective and sort of take some of the emotionality out of it. It can really help us when we're starting to bite our nails and woe is me mentality. You have someone there say, let's take a step back, let's look big picture. Here's where we need to go.
I think it's something too, like, I can remember just, if I have an appointment with friends or whatever, it's like, oh, they won't care if I bail. It's like, oh, it's okay. Yeah. But it's like somebody that's close enough that you trust them, but not close enough that like, oh, they're gonna harass me if I miss this appointment. Or like if I start getting lazy, I'll be like, oh my God, I can't let them down. Like having it be that kind of relationship where it's like, there are some lines there. It's not like, I'll be like, oh, they'll love me anyway, even if I do this. It's like, no, you want someone that's like, I don't want to disappoint them. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to do what's prescribed for me, or I'm going to be there, I'm going to show up, or I'm going to make good decisions because I don't want to let that person down. And you know, it's great if your friends and family can do that, but I know for me, like if my sister was like, I'm not going to make it to the gym today, I'm like, all right, that's fine. Love you, bye. But like if it's him, I'll be like, oh, he's going to call me a wuss, I'm going to do, like, can't do that. So I think having the right type of people in your corner, and maybe it's you have multiple different people aware of what your goals are and you know what your focus is every single day, I think is important. But having that outside perspective where they're not going to just let you get away with anything, like it's their job to keep you on track, I think, or to help you stay on track as much as you can, I think is a huge aspect that sometimes people forget about. And two, I think it makes it more fun when there's somebody that you know has more knowledge than you in this specific area. That way you can just turn your brain off and just listen and just absorb everything and just give 100% effort. You know, think about it. It doesn't matter what you do for work. You think of yourself as the professional. And so if somebody else who wasn't a professional, what you know, comes to you, you're gonna do all you can to help them. And so that's what I think as coaches, you know, both of us can say to it, like we want to make our focus that individual, whether it be remote training, in-person training, doesn't matter where it is, we're gonna give our effort to you and make you know that, you know, we're gonna stay focused on whatever your goals are as a person and not just whatever we think works best for us or differently. But you know, with my friends and family, I still like to give advice all the time, but it's different than having a coach that you know is very knowledgeable in that field.